On the news tonight, President Buhari tasked Nigerian youth on future leadership responsibilities. Host APC youth leaders. Ogun Executive Council constituted as Governor of Abiodun swears in 19 commissioners, 16 special advisors. 2020 Armed Forces Remembrance Day kickstart with special Jumat in Ogun. Good evening. Welcome to Channel 12 News. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ayela Balogo. We start with a story on the president. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria will continue to stand with the Islamic Republic of Mauritania and collaborate more effectively with the North African nation in critical economic sectors for the benefit of their people. The president stated this while granting audience to the outgoing ambassador to Mauritania to Nigeria, Ba Abdurrahmani. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Going down memory lane at an audience with Ambassador Ba Abdurrahman, President Muhammadu Buhari said the affinity between Nigeria and Mauritania under his watch dates back to when he was a military leader in the 80s. The president said he led Nigeria to stand with Mauritania then and even now. The relationship between the two countries, he said, is quite historic. President Buhari thanked the ambassador, who spent almost 7 years in the country, for engendering a good relationship between Nigeria and Mauritania. He urged the envoy to ensure that his country and Nigeria always present a united front to the international community. Ambassador Ba Abdurrahman said he enjoyed his tour of duty in Nigeria and would always remain an ambassador of goodwill. He said he loves Nigeria and indeed Nigerians and is therefore returning home with good memories. Mauritania, which gained independence in 1960, is the 11th largest sovereign state in Africa and one of the newest oil producers. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, Nta News.
Still on Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari is tasking the nation's youth as future leaders to take ownership of the next level enterprise by jealously guiding and supporting genuine efforts at building a sustainable future for all. Granting audience to the APC national and zonal youth leaders and representatives from the 6 geopolitical zones, the president urged them to raise up for leadership as he sustains efforts at stabilizing the country and fighting corruption. Sida's correspondent Damu Sambo again has details.
I assure you that if anybody seems to be spared, it's because we haven't caught our vision, and eventually we shall.
President Muhammadu Buhari told the youth leaders that having sworn by the Constitution to defend the interests of the country, he will remain firm, focused, and relentless in delivering results. He said efforts at genuinely securing the country, stimulating the economy, and recovering the nation's assets from those who abuse trust will be intensified. The president, however, said with certainty that he and the present crop of leaders will leave the stage someday.
Whether we like it or not, we are going to hand it over to you. It's up to you to stabilize this country. God has given us a large country, fertile, with a lot of resources. All we need is to ensure that whoever gets leadership at whichever level is held accountable. And that is our duty. We don't spare anybody across Islam, state, religion, or whatever. People who are in charge of resources at whatever level must be held accountable.
President Buhari told the younger generation to beware that some interest groups will come up with divisive tendencies, advising them to at all times keep a broader view of the country as one entity and continuously de-emphasize ethnic and religious backgrounds in nation building.
We fought a civil war. At least 2 million Nigerians were killed. And I don't think anybody should joke with families as one country.
The national youth leader of the APC, Sadiq Shuaib Abubakar, congratulated President Buhari for winning the presidential election in 2019, assuring him that the youth will continue to support his policies and vision of greatness for the country.
in recognition of their passion to carry the youth along in our administration, we wish to seek inclusion of the young people of our party at all levels in government. These are the people who believe in our vision. These are the people who believe they can get things done for you, and on behalf of the party, we move forward.
The youth leaders acknowledged the giant strides recorded by the Buhari administration so far in the fight against insecurity, corruption and smuggling, economic diversification, as well as strict adherence to the rule of law. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Ogun State Governors Advisory Council settled with the responsibility of assisting the state government in successful implementation of its transition program has been inaugurated with its chairman and elder statesman, Nta Abeokuta. Correspondent Lukman Adefeso reports that the governor, Prince Nta Abeokuta, clarifies that the council has no political undertone. His report is presented in this package.
The Advisory Council, which consists of elders with impeccable characters and vast experiences, were carefully selected across the state with the responsibilities of filling the pulse of the people, report to the governor, and also avail the governor the benefit of their wealth of experiences towards the development of the state. Tasking the committee, the governor, Prince Nta Abeokuta, stressed the importance of yielding to the wisdom and advice of elders to engender quality leadership traits and purposeful governance. He explained that his government will not disparage elders, but rather embrace them to tap from them.
No specific generation of government holds a monopoly on wisdom. In every fully functional society, particularly in globalized multicultural organizations and epochs, leaders gain immense value by opening themselves up to multiple and intergenerational forms of competence, aggregating diverse voices and ideas in service of the people. Indeed, every leader needs a council of people who can speak truth to power.
As one of the major parts of the assignment, the governor asked them to come up with a list of all roads that need rehabilitation across the state in order of priority. In the separate speeches at the event, Chairman Governors Advisory Council, Nta Abeokuta, and the Chairman ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) in Ogun State, Yemi Sanusi, maintained that with the constitution of the council, it shows a clear indication that the governor is running an all-inclusive government.
The type and the quality of advice we will send to you will be such as will enhance your governance, so that at the end of the day, all of us will say we are part of this government.
Some of them showing the government of their own elect supports, the head him to always avail them of his presence.
In the meantime, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has lauded officers and men of the Nigerian Army, 13th Brigade, for a successful conduct of Operation Crocodile Smile 4 in Ikang community of Bakassi local government area, Cross River State. The Chief of Army Staff, represented by Commandant Amphibious Training School Calabar, Brigadier General Joshua Nino, attributes the success recorded during the operation to the willingness and determination of the soldiers to curtail crime in the area. Achibong Bassi reports.
The bonfire night is part of activities to wrap up exercise Crocodile Smile 4 by men of the Nigerian Army 13th Brigade. And this exercise has been adjudged as a huge success.
The success of the exercise has not been without the commitment and conduct of men of the 13th Brigade and other security agencies which make up the Super Camp, a concept designed for the officers to work in synergy with other security operatives in the state.
person who can simply stand at the super camp with regard as good understanding of the concepts and most particularly interest.
Inaugurated about 3 years ago to tackle armed banditry, kidnapping, cultism, and other forms of criminal activities, the officers recorded 35 arrests, recovered 109 locally made guns with 345 cartridges and 2 AK-47 rifles during the operation.
The first phase, which lasted till the 7th of November, was actually designed to shape the entire environment and, of course, some civil military cooperation activities
to further protect the state and safeguard its citizens during the Calabar Carnival. The exercise was extended to January 2020 to even afforded the officers an opportunity to unwind. In Calabar, Achibombasi, Nta News.
The much-awaited Executive Council in Ogun State has finally been constituted, with swearing in of 19 commissioners and 16 special advisors. The governor, Prince Nta Abeokuta, charged the new cabinet members to see their appointment as called to serve. Lukman Adivasa's report is presented in this package.
It was an atmosphere of great joy and excitement as the long-awaited Executive Council of Ogun State is constituted. Members of the All Progressives Congress and notable personalities formed the June 12 Cultural Center, Nta Abeokuta, to witness the occasion. The commissioners in Bashis took the oath of office. Governor President Abeokuta joined the commissioners to work for the common goals of the people so that history will remember them for good.
Some have insinuated the appointment of members of the State Executive Council as late. Nevertheless, to procure the very best, that is, game changers who believe in our all-hands-on-deck approach, team players who will make an impact, one must consult widely. We have thus made sure that the best hands have emerged.
Calling on them to give their best input towards the development of education, health, agriculture, food security, and economy. The governor stated that there was a wide consultation and background check before they were selected to serve the state. Some of the commissioners assured the people of their commitment to actualize the policies and programs of the present government in the state.
Praise Dr. Abeokuta for the privilege that he has given to us by appointing us into this office. We are not taking it for granted, and we promise I will not disappoint him. We cooperate with him
to provide universal health care for all citizens of Ogun State, free health care for pregnant women and children under the age of 5, and also we'll be introducing the insurance scheme which will make health affordable and accessible to the citizens of Ogun State.
16 special advisors to the governor were also sworn in.
As part of activities lined up to mark this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day, a special Jumat service was organized to kickstart the program. Muyiwa Omoumi, who was at the Central Mosque Committee Abeokuta, reports that military officers and government functionaries were present as prayers were offered for officers who lost their lives, who lost their loved ones in the line of duty.
Counted as free citizens of our states or of the country.
And now we go to the aviation sector. The federal government has again assured that the Kano Ibiam International Airport, Ogun, will be reopened before Easter period. The Managing Director, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Captain Rabiu Yududu, gave the assurance during an interaction with the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation. National Assembly correspondent Lani Ali reports.
Ongoing rehabilitation at the Kano Ibiam International Airport in Enugu, the Managing Director of FAN said entail general infrastructure improvements for air safety and security in line with standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization.
Works on the pavement, works on the apron, on the drainage system, on the perimeter road, on the fencing. The GAT lounge in Enugu is also being attended to. Then there is the clinic. The airport has no clinic. We also attend to that during this work. We want this runway and all other works to be ready before Easter.
The matter started with the governors of Southeast meeting with the minister and also the president on the issue, and the president graciously approved the money.
The consultant appointed by Southeast governors was part of the meeting to offer needed assistance to fast-track the project completion. Other issues that came up during the interaction were the cancellations, delays and diversions of flights recently experienced. The committee expressed displeasure over the recent diversion of an international flight from Lagos to a neighboring country.
Why British Airways elected to go to Accra in the evening and come back during the day with the same weather conditions, that would have been a corporate decision.
Accra-Obama is not about that. Accra-Obama is being much better. It's about when you arrive an aircraft, you are looking for the nearest suitable airport. And maybe the nearest to Lagos is Accra. If Abuja was smaller, we would have gone to Abuja.
Both Fan and Nama say all equipment installed across airports in Nigeria are of international standard. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And in the health sector, Nigeria recorded major milestone in the year 2019. But as the year 2020 takes shape, health experts on Good Morning Nigeria today call to sustainable synergy between the public and private sectors, which they say will bring back improved healthcare delivery. Nta Abeokuta now reports.
Be the start of a new year, but it wouldn't be wrong to track back to the successes recorded in the health sector in the past year, with the most recent being the successful separation of conjoined twins at the National Hospital Abuja. But guests on Good Morning Nigeria have said a sustainable public-private partnership is key to ending the trend of medical tourism abroad.
Government, in reality, does not have all the funds because of the competing interests, that must be taken care of. So the PPP options, we are inviting investors to come and invest. And then, of course, because it's cheaper, it's more convenient for people to have these services here in Nigeria rather than going over there. The slow attitude to health insurance is what is causing the discordance. If I'm carrying a health insurance, it doesn't matter whether National Hospital, they don't have what I want, they are quite free to send me to another hospital because money is not involved. So we must address the issue of access to health.
Guests also raised concerns on the non-classification of hospitals and healthcare centers and the services they provide as contributing factors responsible for the increased level of medical tourism, and called for the creation of a platform that allows for easy access to specific healthcare services.
People don't know where to go because it's easy to fall into the hands of charlatans. And that's why the National Health Act stipulated that hospitals must be classified. And I think the Federal Ministry of Health must awaken to this responsibility.
We have a lot of documents in the Ministry of Health that are not being implemented. Excellent plans. And I hope that if we are able to implement this National Surgical Plan, it should help in a long way in addressing all the issues. Getting the private sector and the public sector to work together was one of the key things that we discussed in that plan.
They, however, urged Nigerians to invest more in the country's health sector, which in turn will contribute to the nation's GDP. In Abuja, Nta Abeokuta, NTA News.
The Channel 12 News continues after this timeout. Stay with us. On behalf of the General Manager and management of Nta Abeokuta, we hereby say a big thank you to our numerous customers for doing business with us. Appreciation.
appreciation. Mo dúpẹ́ onímú ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá bọ̀ pẹ́ mi.
Welcome back. Moving on now, the Nigerian Police Ogun State Command has paraded 24 suspects who have been terrorizing various parts of the state. The Commissioner of Police in Ogun State, CP Kenneth Abramson, while addressing journalists shortly before the parade, stated that the suspects were paraded in connection with various crimes, such as armed robbery, cultism, kidnapping, impersonation.
Painting have decided to still go back to their old trade by hijacking goods, vehicle carrying goods along Shagamu-Ijabode Express Road, and will subsequently, based on intelligence, arrested them with their offensive weapons, and we recovered from them a Ford Transit bus loaded with goods, spare parts, suspected to be stolen. 2 kidnapped victims were kidnapped and taken into their hideout. We had to raise a search and rescue team, and in the course of that, we were able to rescue the victims unhurt and recover the ransom money that was collected. An exhibit recovered from the suspects include wraps of wheat suspected to be Indian hemp, sachet of tramadol, the sum of 52,500 naira, and 28 cows.
Other crimes alleged to have been committed by the suspects include vandals of electrical equipment, theft and house burglary, as well as some caught in possession of substances suspected to be Indian hemp. CP Abramson, while appreciating Force Headquarters and Ogun State Government for their support in achieving the feat, cautioned criminally minded people to stay clear of the state in their own interest before the long arm of the law catches up with them. The CP, who promised to consolidate and community policing to effectively combat crime and criminality, solicited the support of all and sundry to win the war against crime in the society. Meanwhile, the Independent Electoral Commission, Ogun State, says it is ready to conduct a supplementary rerun election in 13 polling units spread across 3 local government areas in Ogun State, as ordered by the Appeal Court. In a statement by the head of Voter Education and Publicity Department of the Commission in the state, Tadeshe Adunike, on behalf of the Resident Electoral Commissioner, it was in accordance with provision of Section 30, Subsection 3 of the Electoral Act 2010, as amended, which states that notice of rerun election should be published not later than 14 days before the day appointed for holding an election. It further stated that it was in line with this act that it is notifying the public that a House of Representatives election shall hold in 3 federal constituencies, including Ijebu Northeast, 11 units, Ijebu-Ode 1 unit, and Odobolu 1 unit on Saturday, 25th January 2020 by 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. To this end, the Independent National Electoral Commission, Ogun State, has displayed the notice of the election at the State Office of the Commission and the 3 local government offices. Mixed reactions trailed enrollment of prospective UTME candidates for the national identification numbers in Akure, Ondo State capital, as applicants complained about the delay in processing the cards. Nta Abeokuta reports. Report in our subsequent bulletin. We now take business news.
as can be seen with the number of buyers trooping into the markets to make purchase. However, it doesn't come without its own challenges. Like every business such as this, there are seasons that are more difficult than others, with low turnout of customers and products alike.
Right now, the problem that we are facing is about the buyers. The buyers are not used to coming out and buying. Sometimes you can see tendency that you buy 5,000, at least it will be lost to be sell it 4,500, 4,700. Instead of you that you buy 5,000 to sell it 5,500, that you got your own. Then actually you'll be begin to sell it 4,700, 4,500. That is a loss.
With business news, Abdul Karim Zumi.
And now, sports update.
Having achieved high productivity in capacity building in 2019, the Nigeria Tennis Federation is working towards consolidating upon its core areas of grassroots development, exposure of athletes to national and international competitions, upgrade of coaches, umpires and facilities for the good of the sport in 2020 and beyond.
Hopefully, we identify some players that we could push up to high performance centers.
Former world number 1 and 22-time Grand Slam singles champion Serena Williams faces Amanda Anisimova in the second semi-final of the Auckland Classic Saturday, following her 6-4, 6-3 quarter-final defeat of Laura Sigmund. 18-year-old Anisimova, who has a childhood dream of playing against Williams, triumphed 6-2, 3-6, 6-4 against Eugene Burchard. Meanwhile, the first semi-final will see Caroline Wozniacki, who powered past fourth seed and 2019 champion Julia Gorgeous, 6-1, 6-4, up against unseeded American Jessica Pegula. In football, after a one-week break, action resumes in the English Premier League weekend with matchday 22 fixtures, pitting Manchester United against Norwich City in a game that will be beamed live on the NTA Saturday at 4 p.m. Table toppers Liverpool visit Tottenham Hotspur. With sports updates, Tamara Ebiwe, NTA News.
Now we take a quick look at the weather picture for tomorrow.
Hello and welcome. Dust has been the prevailing weather in the past few weeks over most places in the country, and dust is still expected over the north down to the central region with an improved visibility of about 2 to 5 kilometers. With the influx of moist wind into the country from the ocean, haziness is anticipated over the inland with partly cloudy skies at intervals, while early morning mist and fog patches are expected over the coast, which should lift by afternoon, giving way for hazy conditions with patches of cloud later in the day. For the temperatures across some selected cities, do stand by. I remain Taide Helen. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again.
And that concludes Channel 12 News tonight. Thanks for watching.
aláṣẹ Muhammadu Buhari ké sí àwọn ọ̀dọ́ láti jí gìrì sí ipò aṣíwájú bí ó ti ń gba àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ẹgbẹ́ APC lálejò. Gómìnà Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún búra fún ìgbìmọ̀ ìṣàkóso rẹ̀. Ètò ayẹyẹ ìrántí àwọn ológun bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìran Jímọ̀ pàtàkì. Ẹ̀kálẹ́ Olúwakẹ́mi Ọ̀rúnṣolú Síkírù ní orúkọ tèmi, ìròyìn náà rí lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Aláṣẹ Muhammadu Buhari ti gba àwọn ọ̀dọ́ orílẹ̀-èdè yìí lámọ̀ràn láti jí gìrì sí ọjọ́ ọ̀la wọn nípa dídáàbòbò bó ti tọ́ àti bó ti yẹ. Ó sọ èyí bí ó ti ń gbàlejò àwọn ọ̀dọ́ nínú ẹgbẹ́ APC láti ẹkùn mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà. Aláṣẹ Buhari rọ̀ wọ́n láti jí gìrì sí ipò aṣáájú àti láti wá ọwọ́ ìyà àjẹbánu wọlé lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn Ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ti ké sí àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ rẹ̀ tuntun láti rí ipò wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìpè láti sin ilẹ̀ bàbá wọn. Ó sọ èyí lásìkò tó ṣètò ìbúra fún àwọn alábòójútó mọ́kàndínlógún tuntun àti àwọn olùdámọ̀ràn mẹ́rìndínlógún. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Lukman Adéfẹ̀sọ̀ jábọ̀ ìròyìn ẹ̀gbọ́n tí ó múbọ̀ síwájú sí láti ẹnu Mohammed Adébọ̀wálé.
Ó jẹ́ gbàgede ìdùnnú àti ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ayọ̀ bí wọ́n ṣe ṣe ìfilọ́lẹ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ ìṣàkóso ìṣèjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn eléyìí tí àwọn ènìyàn sọ pé ó yẹ kó ti wáyé láti ọjọ́ tó ti pẹ́ sẹ́yìn. Mọ̀lẹ́bí ará ọ̀rẹ́ pàápàá jùlọ àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ni wọ́n péjú sí gbọ̀ngàn June 12 Cultural Center tó wà ní Kútọ̀ ní ìlú Abẹ́òkúta láti gbé ní ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ náà. Ní ṣísẹ̀ntẹ̀lé ni àwọn alábòójútó tuntun ọ̀hún tí wọn yóò máa ṣe ìtukọ̀ ẹ̀ka iléeṣẹ́ ọba gbogbo ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ṣe ìbúra láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́. Gómìnà nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ Ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún rọ àwọn alábòójútó náà láti ṣe fún ìdàgbàsókè àwọn ènìyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn pàápàá jùlọ agbègbè rẹ̀ kí wọ́n lè kọ orúkọ wọn sí inú ìtàn rere ìpínlẹ̀ yìí nígbà tí ó rọ̀ wọ́n láti ṣe àmúlò ọgbọ́n orí tí wọ́n ti ní àwọn ọmọ ogun tí wọ́n ti ṣẹ́ sẹ́yìn láti mú ìdàgbàsókè bá ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ẹ̀ka ètò ìlera, ẹ̀ka ètò ọ̀gbìn, ìpèsè oúnjẹ lọ́pọ̀ yanturu àti ẹ̀ka ètò ọrọ̀ ajé. Gómìnà ṣe àlàyé pé onírúurú àjọsọ àti àgbéyẹ̀wò ni àwọn ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn tí ọ̀rọ̀ kàn kó tó di wípé wọ́n mú orúkọ àwọn èèyàn náà fi wọ́n sí ipò tí wọ́n wà báyìí. Lára àwọn alábòójútó náà tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Nta Abeokuta sọ̀rọ̀ sọ wípé àwọn ṣetán láti sin àwọn èèyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn pẹ̀lú onírúurú ètò àti ìlànà tí ìjọba gbé kalẹ̀ láti ṣe ìrìpadà ògo ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. Bákan náà ni wọ́n búra fún àwọn amúgbálẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ àti olùdámọ̀ràn bíi mẹ́rìndínlógún fún gómìnà. Mohammed Adébọ̀wálé ni ti jábọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ láti iléeṣẹ́ Nta Abeokuta.
Wọ́n ti ṣe ìfilọ́lẹ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ tí yóò máa ṣe ìrànwọ́ fún gómìnà lórí ètò ìdàgbàsókè pẹ̀lú alága rẹ̀ ìyẹn alàgbà Olúlẹ̀yẹ Òkúbíyèjọ. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Lukman Adéfẹ̀sọ̀ jábọ̀ ìròyìn pé gómìnà Ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ pé ìgbìmọ̀ ọ̀hún kì í ṣe ti olóṣèlú rárá. Ẹgbẹ́ ohun tí ó ń bọ̀ síwájú sí láti ẹnu Mohammed Adébọ̀wálé.
Ìgbìmọ̀ àwọn àgbààgbà tí ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn lábẹ́ ìṣàkóso gómìnà Ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ṣe àgbékalẹ̀ rẹ̀ ní láti máa ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún gómìnà nípa ọgbọ́n àti ìrírí wọn ní ẹ̀ka gbogbo tí wọ́n ti ṣe sẹ́yìn àti láti máa mọ àwọn ohun tó ń lọ nílùú kí wọ́n máa fi tó ìjọba létí pẹ̀lú èròǹgbà fún ìjọba láti ṣe gbogbo ohun tó yẹ. Àwọn àgbààgbà náà ni wọ́n yàn jákèjádò ẹkùn gbogbo ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn láti ṣe àmúlò ìrírí àti ọgbọ́n fún ìṣèjọba tó yè kooro. Nígbà tí ó rọ àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ náà, gómìnà Ọmọọba Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún ti pẹnumọ́ ìrèdí tó fi yẹ kí àwọn máa gbọ́ràn sí àgbààgbà lẹ́nu, bákan náà lo ọgbọ́n orí wọn fún ìlọsíwájú àti ìdàgbàsókè ìpínlẹ̀ yìí. Ó ṣe àlàyé pé ìjọba kò ní fọwọ́ ta àwọn àgbààgbà nù, dípò eléyìí wọn a máa bá wọn jíròrò lóòrèkóòrè láti mú ìlérí gbogbo tí wọ́n ṣe lásìkò ètò ìpolongo ìbò wá sí ìmúṣẹ.
Ohun tí àgbàlagbà rí ní orí ìjókòó bí ọmọdé bá gbó orí igi gíga kò lè rí tó tó ṣe bí òwe o. Ìgbóhùn ìlú àtàn ìwà gbogbo ẹ̀rọ kan gba Nàìjíríà
Nǹkan tó jẹ́ gbòógì iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n gbé lẹ́wọ̀n àgbààgbà náà lọ́wọ́ ni láti kọ gbogbo orúkọ àwọn ojú òpópónà gbogbo tí wọ́n nílò àtúnṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. Nínú ọ̀rọ̀ wọn, ẹni tó jẹ́ alága ìgbìmọ̀ náà Olúlẹ́yẹ Òkúbóyèjọ àti alága ẹgbẹ́ òṣèlú All Progressives Congress ẹ̀ka ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn Yẹmí Sànúsí sọ wípé ṣíṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ìgbìmọ̀ ọ̀hún fi hàn gbangba pé gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ṣetán láti ṣe àmúlò gbogbo ènìyàn nínú èròǹgbà láti mú ìràpadà bá ògo ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. Nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe ìtẹnumọ́ àtìlẹ́yìn wọn fún gómìnà, wọ́n rọ̀ ọ́ wípé kó máa fi àyè sílẹ̀ fún àwọn ní gbogbo àti àwọn bá ti nílò rẹ̀. Mohammed Adéwọ̀wálé ni ti jábọ̀ rẹ̀ láti lè ṣe Nta Abeokuta.
Lára ìlànà láti sàmì ayẹyẹ ìrántí àwọn àbọ̀dé ológun, ètò ìrìnàjò pàtàkì ti wáyé láti ṣiṣẹ́ lójú ètò ọ̀hún. Akọ̀ròyìn wa Múyìwá Ọmọ́wùnmí tó bá wọn wà ní mọ́sálásí Kọ́bítì nílùú Abẹ́òkúta jábọ̀ ìròyìn pé àwọn lọ́gàálọ́gàá ológun àti àwọn gbòǹgbò nínú ètò ìṣèjọba nípínlẹ̀ Ògùn wọ́n wà níbi ètò àdúrà náà. Wọ́n gbàdúrà fún àwọn àbọ̀dé ológun ọ̀hún àti àwọn tí wọ́n pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn. Bákan náà ni wọ́n gbàdúrà fún ẹbí, ará, ọ̀rẹ́, ìpínlẹ̀ àti orílẹ̀-èdè wọn lápapọ̀. Iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá nípínlẹ̀ Ògùn ti ṣe àfihàn àwọn afurasí ọ̀daràn 24 tí wọ́n ti fi ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn làkàlàkà tipẹ́. Ọ̀gá ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn Kenneth Obizin ṣàlàyé pé onírànran ẹ̀sùn ni àwọn ń ṣe àfihàn àwọn afurasí ọ̀hún fún bíi ìdigunjalè, ẹgbẹ́ òkùnkùn àti àwọn ẹ̀sùn mìíràn gbogbo. Ọ̀gá ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ké sí àwọn ọ̀bàyéjẹ́ láti yàgò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn fún àǹfààní tiwọn. Wọ́n ti sọ pé ìfọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ láàrin ilé ìwòsàn aládàáni àti ilé ìwòsàn gbogbogbò ìyẹn ti ìjọba yóò mú ìdàgbàsókè bá ìpèsè ètò ìlera orílẹ̀-èdè yìí. Àwọn àlejò lórí ètò Good Morning Nigeria iléeṣẹ́ NTA ló sọ yìí bí wọ́n ti ń jíròrò lórí àṣeyọrí ẹ̀ka ìlera orílẹ̀-èdè yìí fún ọdún 2019. Ẹgbẹ́ àtúpalẹ̀ ìròyìn náà síwájú sí láti ẹnu Ṣèyí Ògúnbáyọ̀.
Àgbéyẹ̀wò lórí ẹ̀ka ìlera lọ́dún tó kọjá fi hàn pé àṣeyọrí wà látàrí ọ̀pọ̀ iṣẹ́ abẹ èyí tí ó díjú èyí tí wọ́n ṣe ní ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba àpapọ̀ èyí tó wà nílùú Àbújá níbi tí wọ́n ti ya àwọn ìbejì méjì tó lẹ̀ papọ̀ sọ́tọ̀ tí àwọn méjèèjì sì wà láàyè. Àwọn àlejò lórí ètò NTA Good Morning Nigeria sọ pé ọ̀pọ̀ àṣeyọrí lẹ́ka ìwòsàn ni yóò wáyé lọ́dún 2020 tí àjọṣepọ̀ bá wà láàrin ìjọba àpapọ̀ àti àwọn ẹ̀ka aládàáni lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ìlera. Gbígba àwọn aládàáni láàyè yóò mú ìfigagbága lẹ́ka ìṣègùn hàn tí yóò sì mú kí àwọn olókòwò wá dáṣẹ́ sílẹ̀ kí wọ́n sì dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ ètò ìlera orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n sọ pé ẹ̀dínwó wà lórí gbígba ìwòsàn lábẹ́lé ju lílọ sí ilẹ̀ òkèèrè. Àlejò mìíràn sọ pé ìdásí ètò ìdíyelófò fún ètò ìlera ló ń fà bí ìgbín. Àwọn àlejò náà sọ pé àgbéyẹ̀wò àtúnṣe sí àwọn ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé fún oògùn àti irinṣẹ́ ìlera. Bákan náà ni àgbékalẹ̀ ojúpò ìkànsíni gbọ́dọ̀ wà tí àwọn ènìyàn lè béèrè ọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìlera wọn èyíkéyìí. Iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ fún ètò ìlera gbọ́dọ̀ jígìrì sí ojúṣe ọ̀hún. Àwọn ìsọfúnni tó wà ní iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba àpapọ̀ fún ètò ìlera ni a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàmúlò rẹ̀ ní kọ́mọ́nkóbó kí àwọn ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba àti ti aládàáni lè ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀. Wọ́n wá rọ àwọn ọmọ orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà láti dókòwò sí ẹ̀ka ìlera nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà kí èyí lè mú ètò ìṣúná wa gòkè ní ọdún 2020. Ṣèyí Ògúnbáyọ̀ ló jábọ̀ ròyìn fún iléeṣẹ́ Nta Abeokuta.
Àjọ tó ń ṣètò ìdìbò lórílẹ̀-èdè yìí ẹ̀ka ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn ti sọ pé òun ti ṣetán láti ṣe ètò àtúnṣe ìdìbò ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ 3 ní àwọn ibùdó ìdìbò 13 nípínlẹ̀ Ògùn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ilé ẹjọ́ ti pa láṣẹ. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde tí olórí ẹ̀ka ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ àti ìpolongo fi síta ìyẹn arábìnrin Adénìkẹ́ Tádéṣe lórúkọ alábòójútó, ó wí pé gbogbo ìkéde àti ṣe àtúnṣe gbọdọ̀ bọ́ sóde ó kéré tán ọjọ́ 14 ṣáájú ètò náà. Nítorí ìdí èyí, ètò ìdìbò sí ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣojú-ṣòfin yóò máa wáyé ní ẹkùn ìdìbò 3 ní ìlà oòrùn àríwá, Ìjẹ̀bú Òde àti Òde Ìgbólú ní ọjọ́ Ọjọ́bọ̀ ìyẹn sátidé ní ọjọ́ kẹẹ̀ẹ́dọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kínní ọdún 2020 ní dédé aago 8 òwúrọ̀ sí aago 12 ọ̀sán. Ó ní gbogbo àwọn ìwé àtẹ̀jáde ni ó ti wà nílé àjọ tó ń ṣètò ìdìbò lórílẹ̀‐èdè ní ẹ̀ka àti ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn àti gbogbo àwọn ibùdó ìdìbò gbogbo ọ̀hún. tó ìròyìn wa fún ti àṣálẹ́ yìí kò ní jù báyìí lọ. Ẹ pàdé wa fákàtú ìròyìn láṣálẹ́ ọ̀la láṣẹ ìdùnnà rẹ̀ ó dàárọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ìyàsán.
Àyítẹ̀gbẹ́ Buhari yìí àfòjọba àyítẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tọ́lẹ̀ dẹ́ta lẹ́nu kan tọ́tẹ̀ ẹ̀sán ìlànà èyí tí ó tó sọ gbọdọ̀ bó sọmọ yìí jóná nǹkan tó dàda lẹ́tọ̀ tó tó gbàgbẹ́ APC mẹ́. Àyè sísí àkọ́ọ̀dù títún bá sítọ́ oògùn tán kò yí ìlú ẹ̀dùn náà bẹ̀rù àyè mátẹ̀gbẹ́ Abíọ́dún fúnléyàwó lẹ́nu kókó nígbò tó fọtọnukú rẹ̀ pé àyìnlẹ́mẹ̀tọ́ àdódó fọtọnukúdò pọ̀pọ̀. Ó mẹ́fìn iṣẹ́ àwọn àfòtọ́ kókó ìjà yìí tó àwọn agbójílẹ̀ tán sí òun pé júmọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́ àdódó pé tó òkùnrin má tẹ̀lẹ̀. Mèkúdò òjà yìí ìsọkúdé àsọ̀gbé tán. Ẹ̀yẹ wọ ìròyìn gbígbẹ́lẹ́dẹ́ sọ tẹlifíṣàn ọ̀dọ̀dọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ tọ̀lẹ̀ tó Abẹ́òkúta ìròyìn náà tọwọ́ Lawrence Kandonu. Àyítẹ̀gbẹ́ Muhammadu Buhari dọ̀ Nàìjíríà mẹ́sìn dẹ́nukàn gbọ́tò àsanwó àmọ́kọ̀tàn pé àyítẹ̀ ilẹ̀ Islamic Republic of Mauritania kó nàdó wàsàndópọ̀ lọ́sùlọ́sù pé àyítẹ̀ àgbéwàjílẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà Áfíríkà lọ́tọ̀ pé tó àhàrà àdógbó àjọwó tó nọmẹlẹ́mẹ̀ náà dàgbé ìbẹ̀tọ̀ yìí tọ̀ lẹ́tọ̀ ààyè tó ẹgbẹ́ púpọ̀ ọ̀gàn kéèké òfin ìtàn pẹ̀lú ètò yìí jóná ilẹ̀ lòkùnmọ̀ ló ètò títúrò tẹ̀lẹ̀ náà Mauritania dé Nàìjíríà ilẹ̀ Badarahane tó àsọpá ìtọ̀lẹ̀ mọ́dùkú ẹ̀lìní tọ̀mítọ̀ Àdàmú Sọ́ńdò ẹ̀lìní gbọ́dọ̀ ààyè tẹ̀gbọ́n zibudota náà ilé-ìsìn Ìbàdàn bó sọ̀jẹ̀ àdúdó dọ̀lọ́wà dépọ̀ ìkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ dẹ̀mọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan ní tí tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ àyítẹ̀ àwòrán ẹ̀tọ́. Àyítẹ̀gbẹ́ Muhammadu Buhari kò yíwà fún jọjà àyítẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tọ́lẹ̀ lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sọ̀ pódìmùkọ̀tọ̀ àyítẹ̀ tọ́tọ̀ sọ̀gbọ́dọ̀ nàdọ́mọ̀dọ̀ mọ́ yẹ́rẹ́ sọ́ọ̀sì bẹ́ẹ̀nìkan bó wàsàn vẹ́kúvẹ́kú nàdọ́lẹ́sọ̀ àsúkà gbòǹgbò hìnà gbẹ̀dàgbé plágbẹ̀tọ́lẹ̀ tó òsọ̀gbọ́dọ̀ bó sọ́mọ̀dọ̀ mọ́ yẹ gbọ́ àlọ́ látàgbàdìdì àdúgbò mọ́ kọ̀tọ́lẹ̀ hètì nàdọ́gbà òsọ̀gbọ́dọ̀ hìpẹ̀gà hìsọ̀hẹ̀yẹnubò bó pẹ̀sí táwọn mọ́ kọ̀tọ̀ látòsótòsì èdètò yìí jóná gbẹ̀gbàsí òǹdàgbẹ́sọ èyí ìjọba tòótọ́ dọ̀gbẹ́ APC tọ́lẹ̀ lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sọ̀ náà lẹ́nu lẹ́ pé olùkúmọ̀ nílẹ̀ pé sọ́ọ̀lẹ́nu ṣírò pé ìmọ̀ àyítẹ̀gbẹ́ ìbùdó àyítẹ̀gbẹ́ náà yìí nàdọ́gbọ̀dọ̀ yìí fún àpò gbòòrò wàsán mọ́kọ̀tọ̀ kílè pèsè pé náà nìkan tọ́tẹ̀ gbòdì dé ìyẹnu ẹ̀dùnádó nàdó ẹ̀fọ́ àìgbọ́ngbọ́n náà gbìnà pa àyítẹ̀ tán bó sọ́gbù ndó ẹ̀sùn pété bó sí àwọn pé àhìsí bíbẹ́dù gbọ̀n wà lẹ́ẹ̀kọ́jì Àdàmú Sọ́ńdò èyí ìrìnnà òtítọ́ àsọ́pá àyítẹ̀ gbọ́tọ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀yìn ní gbọdọ̀ jọjà lọ́lẹ̀ uwe ibuka na ayitega na yogo ebe ya kodi joda hetori arpo na bosi donuko na so before the beaso data na Dubai ite Nigeria he na hia fa igbangbo ayitega na iye dona ye ni madam bo na ye so ni fo hako na domo mo yi ni ko tote to osogodo àìsísí àkọ́rù tìtòbà sítọ́ àyèmọ́tò ògùntàn ẹgbẹ́ tọ́lẹ̀ pé kò tó tẹ̀lé ọ̀pọ̀ rẹ̀ kò yí ìsìsẹ́ lókèlè gbọ̀ngbọ̀dọ̀ tó ti fi wẹ̀mí yẹ́pẹ̀yàwó mẹ́rin kúpọ̀lùkù tó fọ̀tọ̀lùkù ẹ̀mẹ̀ kó àyèmọ́lẹ̀ tó àgbòdé fọ̀tọ̀lùkù lẹ̀pọ̀ àyèmọ́tò gan àkọ́fídàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún lẹ́yìn ògbẹ́fí yẹ́rọ àìsísí àkọ́rù tìtòbà sítọ́ tọ̀lọ́lẹ̀ na domodomo yimmo de kenero podi me yiro do wa so segbe tole ni to mi don Lukman Adefeso heti to oteme jije adodo wa imete heli ni godo ayimate gan leyin ni ko pẹ̀lú bu tole lele to ayi na me to adodo wa to na domodomo yiwa so yo sura suna dagbe ayimate bi buton bo so wa so na dàgbé ètò dàgbé ètò wọn kọ́ bí tọ̀pọ̀tọ̀ lọ́sọ̀ọ́sọ́ náà gbẹ̀dàgbé tó sótò sí tọ̀wọ̀ èyí dàmú ọ̀ náà yìí nínú dàmú ọ̀ ètò ẹ̀nà yìí jẹ́ tó ti fi mà yìí náà ṣe ṣòro ẹ̀ tọ̀hótò ṣùgbọ́n nàdó wà sọ́tò di gọ́mẹ̀ náà gbẹ̀dàgbé pẹ̀tọ́ tó mẹ́nu lẹ́ẹ̀tọ̀. àyí sísí àyí náà mẹ́tọ́ àdógó àyí mẹ́tẹ̀ ògùn mẹ́tẹ̀ gọ́tọ̀ ètò ìgbọ́ àsán nàgọ́tọ̀ àlọ́gbọ́ ní ògùn mẹ́tẹ̀fọ́dù tó dọ́gbọ̀n ìṣiṣẹ́ tẹ̀lẹ̀ àyè tètò àtòdó ètò ìná ilé àfọ́dù di ọ̀hún ètò ìdúrẹ̀ wọ̀nyí kò ẹ̀yìn nìtòná pọ́ọ̀sì kò jìnnà tó yìí tán lọ́sọ̀ọ́sọ àsúkà gbòǹgbò àyè tètò àgbà ọ̀dọ́ olúlẹ̀yẹ òkúgbó ìjẹ́pọ̀ kódì àsìkò jìnnà tó nínú ìtọ́mítọ́ Lukman Adefeso ẹ̀yìn ní gbọdọ̀ àyímátẹ̀gbọ́n àhọ́vídàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún lọ́sọ̀ọ́sọ ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó mẹ́hẹ́zẹ́hẹ́zẹ́ dọ̀ àyí sísí àdúgbò màtẹ́bẹ̀ ní pépé náà wà pé òtò òdìbọ̀ pé ẹ̀hẹ́n ní gọ̀ dọ̀mẹ̀ títò àìsísí ọ̀mẹ̀lẹ̀ bàṣí gbẹ̀tọ́ kògán èyí àsopọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ àkùnká èsì gbọ́tọ̀ àyí náà àkọ́rùdù bọ̀wálẹ̀ péjì nàgbẹ́mọ̀dàmọ́ òní òwe ìdẹ́kẹ́lẹ̀ yìí sẹ́rẹ́tẹ̀lẹ̀ náà gbẹ̀dàgbẹ̀bẹ̀ tọ́tọ̀ mẹ́rin lẹ́tọ̀ wíkà wá náà yà ìṣíṣí ògbẹ́fẹ́ àìṣíṣí lọ́tọ̀ rẹ̀ nàgbẹ́mọ̀dàmọ́ òní òwe yẹ̀sọ́ ìrètọ̀ yìí ṣiṣẹ́ wà tó àlejì pé tí ó bẹ̀ tọ́tọ̀ mẹ́rin lẹ́tọ̀ pé pọ́bì àgbàgbé tó títọ́ àdúgbò mẹ́rin ṣiṣẹ́ lọ́tọ̀mẹ́lẹ́mẹ̀ nàgbẹ́gbẹ́bí àgbò náà mẹ́mọ̀ rẹ̀ zẹ́ àwọn pàwọn fún tọ́kọ́fẹ́ ètà yìí tó àwọn agbójìlẹ̀ tán ṣiṣẹ́ àdúgbò jùmọ̀ tìtọ́dé kò rí ìṣiṣẹ́ lọ́tọ̀mẹ́ bó sí òkú títọ́ àdúgbò lọ́tọ̀ nínú ìtọ́gbìtọ̀ mẹ́rin wá ọmọ òní etí ìtò mọ́sálásí ọ̀dà pé etí ìtò kọ́bítì Abẹ́òkúta ẹ̀ẹ́lẹ́ ní gbọ́dọ̀ ògbóngbòǹgbò àwọn pàwọn fún tọ́yọ̀tọ̀ pé àkọ́sọ́gán kèsì dèbòlẹ́ pé wẹ̀tí tó mọ́sálásí ọ̀dà olómẹ̀ fi yíwò dẹ̀tì ná ọ̀gá lọ́lẹ̀ ìgbọ̀nfọ́ ìwọ̀n iná tó yìí tọ́lẹ̀tọ̀ lọ́sọ̀rọ̀ tó tó àsọyé tọ̀nù pé mẹ̀dẹ́fọ̀ ìzà tó àsọyé tó sì sí wà lẹ́kùn náà àyítẹ̀ yìí dánmọ́ ti tó àdódúrọ́ wẹ̀bẹ́ pé ìdẹ̀yìnwó lọ́kọ́ ìrẹsì dẹ́nu kan nìsínísí tó sẹ́gbẹ̀ pé ṣiṣẹ́ àdódòdó fòpó tó ẹnẹ̀ àgùnwà dàkọ́ pété ìwé tọ̀mẹ̀ tó àkẹ́ Abẹ́òkúta gbogbo ìnáwó bóńdẹ́sù nínú ìpèdè pílátì tó rẹ̀ tó àsọ̀gbàgbé tó mẹ́mọ̀rún tẹ̀rẹ̀tì tó àsọ̀pá ìmọ̀tẹ̀gbọ́tọ̀mẹ̀ tó kèmọ́sán Abẹ́òkúta. gbogbo sọ́pá àyíká Nàìjíríà tó tó ògùn mọ́tẹ̀lẹ̀ kò dé mẹ̀gbìrì dí àwùjọ ilẹ̀ kòlùkù ìmẹ̀pẹ́pẹ́gìyà èkó tó gómẹ̀gbà lẹ́gbẹ̀tọ́rẹ̀ gbọ́ àwàdílẹ̀ jíìtò àyímọ́tẹ̀mẹ̀ ní púpọ̀lùkù tó kòlù sọ́pá lọ́tọ̀ tó ògùn mọ́tẹ̀mẹ̀ kòlù gẹ́gbà kó Kenneth Edmondson nínú ètò ìgbọ́dọ̀ hẹ́ẹ̀lì nìmọ̀lẹ́ àkùnkàn pé ètò dó lẹ́gbẹ̀rẹ́ dó jí àwùjọ lọ́nà kíá lọ́sọ̀rọ̀sọ dọ́tà náà ọ̀hún lọ́nà hẹ́bù àtòhàn sífù gbẹ́gbígbẹ́ lẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́sẹ́ pé ìwéọ́ mẹ́dẹ́dọ̀ ní èèmọ̀ yìí tọ̀lẹ́ pé lọ́sọ̀rọ̀sọ gbọ́dọ̀ ọ̀hún dẹ́fọ̀ lẹ́pọ̀ wẹ́ẹ̀ yẹ́dọ́ kíá hẹ́nà mímọ̀ mẹ́rinà tó fífi àkọ́lùmí ẹ̀lẹ́tíríkì múlẹ̀tì àjòwọ̀n pé mẹ̀dẹ́fọ̀lẹ́ ètò ìdánúdẹ́fọ̀lẹ́ wà pé òfin bọ̀dọ̀ lọ́sọ̀rọ̀sọ pé mẹ̀dẹ́fọ̀ ètò nínú ìlúkàn lẹ́pẹ́ pọnọdọ́dà fún abinson nínú ètò ìdàgbìyàn ní àsánpá bí àsánpá lọ́tọ̀ tó wà pé ògùn mọ́tò họ́dún lẹ́pẹ́ náà lọ́gbọ́n nínú èyí tán èyídọ́gbọ̀n tọkọ̀ dàgbìyàn káwá dọ̀tẹ́ bó sọ yà lọ́dọ́gbọ̀n àkọ́ bó sọ kò sí bíléèbù lẹ́gbẹ̀tọ́ ètò ìdó ọ̀hún ìhàlẹ̀ nàdọ́jẹ̀lá pété náà yìí mọ́tẹ́ náà dàgbìyàn lẹ́tọ̀ rẹ̀ pé òfin òṣètọ̀ nado ònàṣọ́ọ̀ṣọ́ nado bọ̀dọ̀ yìí gbọ̀nà dọ́lọ́ káwá dọ́pàgbé nàdọ́mọ̀dọ́mọ̀ ẹni ìwàsàn fẹ́kúfẹ́kú dọ́tà náà fún èdè òtò ṣíṣọ́ ọ̀gbẹ̀tọ́ tó bẹ̀rù lẹ́ẹ̀kan lọ́sọ̀ọ̀ṣọ́ nado bóńdó àzọ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ náà pọ̀ òhun pé wà lọ jàgọ̀ dẹ́fọ̀lẹ́ pé lọ́sọ̀ọ̀ṣọ́ bó sọ yírọ́ náà lọ́gọ́ nílẹ̀ tòṣótòṣìtàn nàdọ́sì fẹ́mọ̀ tọkọ̀ dọ́tà náà hàn èyí tó sì ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ̀ òhun tó òtò mẹ́ẹ̀. Ògbẹ́gbòǹgbò àyígbàdìwọ̀n fún tọ́lẹ̀ tọ̀tọ̀ àyítẹ̀mítẹ̀ Nàìjíríà àwọn agbẹ́gbàhó túkọ̀ buratai kò sí ògbé ọ̀gbàgà ní òkè òbẹ̀rẹ̀ pé àwọn apáwọn tọ́lẹ̀ tọ̀pọ̀ lọ́sọ̀ọ́sọ́tò àwọn apáwé àtọ̀tọ̀ ní tọkọ̀dàgbé ìyímọ̀ dọ́gbọ̀n tètò àdógó ìrìnlẹ́dọ̀ operation crocodile smile lọ́sọ̀ọ́sọ́tò òtò itan back to jìjì mẹ́tẹ̀ họ́ọ̀dù lẹ́nu bàkásì tomato cross river òkè gbòǹgbò lọ́ọ́ àwọn àgbẹ̀ etí ilẹ̀ àwọn àgbẹ̀ ìdààmú joshua nínú ẹ̀ ìpọ́tẹ̀nà dó tọkọ̀ dàgbèhì ìmọ̀lọ́rìá tó títọ́ àgbẹ̀dọ́tẹ̀lẹ̀ dótà náà wíwé tó tàgbàjìjẹ̀ kó mọ̀ọ́dọ́mọ̀dọ́mọ̀ yìí búndú àzò náà hùhùhù tó lẹ́nu lọ́mọ́ nkọ̀tọ̀ nínú ìtọ̀ àṣebọ̀ ìbáṣe owó tí tó fún ẹ̀ gbòsọ́mọ̀dọ̀ nínú àgbẹ̀dọ́lọ́tọ̀. dọ̀dọ́pọ̀dù kò sọ̀rọ̀ fún àjọ gbígbóná lọ àgàfọ̀mọ̀hún dẹ́tẹ̀ dàkó ilẹ̀ àkàlù ibi àǹtọ̀ tó ẹ̀mígun náà ìfífọ̀gù pẹ̀lẹ́ ìrẹ́pọ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ gbàgbọ́ pẹ̀lú sí ìpinnu. òkè gbòǹgbò dọ̀dọ́pọ̀dù sọ́pá hìtì náà àgàfọ̀mọ̀hún hólẹ̀tọ̀ ilẹ̀ ọ̀gbọ́n rọ́bì ìyàdúró rẹ̀ ná àjọ gbígbóná tó ìfúnná dọ́pọ̀dù ìpinnu pé àyí sísí òṣèlú ọ̀nùkúmọ̀ nítọ̀kù dẹ́tà náà àgàfọ̀mọ̀hún hólẹ̀ bí ìmọ̀ṣẹ́lẹ̀ tí èmi náà bí ìrìn ẹgbẹ́ tọ̀jẹ̀dé dẹ́kun sọ́ọ̀sì àtẹ̀sẹ́fẹ̀ tó kú náà gáwọn olùpọ̀tọ́ sí ìkọ̀mẹ̀ kákàgbẹ̀hùn lọ́nà ó kó dandan òkú náà gáwọn olùpọ̀tọ́ ààlà ìrìnà pọ̀ bí bẹ̀bẹ̀ kákàgbẹ̀hùn lọ́nà nínú dábàgbé tó sì pọ̀ dẹ́nu.